Hey Fit Bottomed world, it's Alison coming at you from Thrive Yoga in Rockville, Maryland. And today I want to talk a little bit about Chaturanga Dandasana, or for short, Chaturanga. This is probably the most misaligned pose that I see as a teacher, and that really bothers me because of how high the potential of injury is for your shoulders when you're not aligned correctly in this pose. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. This is a really challenging pose to pull off correctly, so it's really going to test your patience. But if you stick with it and you practice properly, you'll start to get all of the benefits of this awesome total body strengthener that we also call the yogi push-up. So let's rock and roll. All right, so let's get started. We'll get started with a little demonstration of what Chaturanga should look and feel like before we get into it, because once you're into it, it's pretty strenuous, so it's not a lot of time to play around with it and sort of feel what the experience is like. So I've taken 2 yoga blocks here and I've lined them up on their medium height, end to end. This is going to give me a place for my chest and belly to rest as I lower into Chaturanga so that you can see and feel what it should look like in your own body. All right, so I'm gonna come so that the tips of my fingers are lined up with the edge of the blocks. Make sure that my pointer fingers are pointed straight ahead. And I'm gonna anchor down through my hands, and then I'm gonna press into the floor to lift my back. So notice how when I press, I stabilize my shoulders. You're gonna need that shoulder stability in this pose. So then I'll press back into high plank. And then I'm going to shift all of my weight forward onto my tippy toes, bend my elbows towards the back corners of my mat, so squeeze the elbows in as I send my chest and belly down onto the blocks. So you'll notice that my forearm is perpendicular to the mat, and my bicep, my upper arm, is parallel to the mat. So you want a nice 90-degree angle here, and at the same time, you're squeezing your elbows in and reaching the crown of your head forward. Okay, so legs are nice and active. Keep pressing into your legs. Squeeze in and extend the crown of your head forward. So you're looking a little bit out in front of you on your mat, but try not to let your head dip down or lift up. Okay, so once you've got this alignment, come down onto your knees and press yourself back. So I'm gonna take the front block out and show you what tends to happen, what we're trying to avoid. So set up my hands, come back into high plank, press them out away, shift my weight forward, lower down just onto one block. Now only part of my body supported. Now what happens is either we're here, not a 90-degree angle, or we're here. Very unsafe for your shoulders in the long run to be at this less than 90-degree angle. So we want to look for the sweet spot right here. Okay, so once you found that, this is a little more work because my chest is not supported. Again, reaching through the crown of the head. Drop my knees down, press myself back. So that's just one demo that'll help you sort of feel where you should be in Chaturanga. All right, so once we get that down with the blocks and we know what it is we're looking for, we can make the transition without the blocks, but this time going onto your knees. So I'd really prefer, instead of practicing a movement over and over that's potentially injurious for your body, to just go down to your knees and work on building the strength and finding the alignment with a little bit of help from your knees before you go to your toes. It's just really dangerous to do that over and over. Better off to just work on building the strength. So let's try it on our knees. So, lining up, first finger pointed towards the front of the mat. I'm gonna slide my knees back slightly. Again, I'm going to press into the floor to lift and support my shoulders. And then from there, I'll start to shift my weight forward, so now my shoulders are past my wrists. Bend the elbows, lower everything down in one piece, and I'm going to stop at the place where my arms are parallel to the floor. So still 90-degree angle in the elbows. Reach the crown of your head forward, nice long line from the crown of your head to your tailbone. Press up and back. So you're going to work on that. So every time you go through a vinyasa in one of your classes or you're asked to lower through Chaturanga, stick with this one for a while. I'd rather you really nail this one, and then you're ready to move up to on your toes. Okay, step 3 with Chaturanga. So now we're gonna go onto our toes. We worked with the block, we knew what we were doing there. Now we went onto our knees. Again, we worked on building that strength. We got a nice solid one-piece lowering. We know how to stop at that one spot, that sweet spot with that 90 degrees. So now we're gonna go onto the toes. So I'm not gonna be able to talk as much during this demonstration. So I'm just gonna tell you what I'm gonna do, and then I'm gonna walk you through it as I go through it. So I'm gonna come into high plank position, and just like we did over the blocks, I'm gonna shift the weight forward and then start to bend the elbows, squeezing them in towards the side of your body. What's really helpful here is as you plant your hands in plank, even though they're planted on the mat, if you think about energetically pulling them apart, like you're trying to slide the two sides of the mat apart, and then start to lower, you get a lot more shoulder stability as you lower through, okay? So as I bend my elbows, I'm gonna come to that 90-degree angle. I'm gonna pause there, reach the crown of my head forward, send my heels towards the back of the room, get a nice long line, nice flat line. And from there, you can work to push back up, which is really fun. Or you can lower all the way down to the mat and continue on with your cobra or up dog or whatever it is that comes after that for you. But just to work on building the strength here, learning to hold in Chaturanga is really important. A lot of people think that it's an elevator ride from plank to the floor. It's really not. Chaturanga is itself one pose, and it is the hold at 90 degrees. Okay, so you really want to work on building that strength there. So set up the hands, pointer fingers pointed towards the front of the mat. Pressing down. I'm going to come back into high plank. So I'm pressing down into the mat and then trying to pull our hands apart on the mat. Then from there, I'm going to shift onto my tippy toes as far as I can. Then bend the elbows, squeeze them in towards the side, lower down, find 90-degree angle, reach the crown of my head forward, and then I can lower through. Okay? So it is a pose. It's not an elevator ride. So the more you can really work on getting that strength build up, the more benefit you'll get from this pose. It's a super, super strength builder.